All right, let's dive right in. We're about to explore a really strange, kind of unsettling collection of stories that have been pulled from the deepest, weirdest corners of the internet.
You can almost think of it as like a raw data dump from the collective subconscious. I'm talking everything from weird premonitions, full on paranormal encounters, to stuff that is just bizarre. So, to give you a real taste of the chaos we're dealing with, let's just jump into a few examples.
Okay, first up, get this. We've got this really stark warning from someone claiming to be a time traveler, and this was posted way back in 2006. There's no proof, nothing to back it up, just this desperate plea from the future.
And then there's this story. Someone's walking through the woods and stumbles upon this perfect, pristine, classic Dodge Dart. I mean, totally out of place. They look away for just a second, look back, and poof, it's instantly rusted out like a forgotten wreck that's been there for decades.
And just to round out the chaos, how about this one? This unforgettable image of a guy ordering and then just sitting in the parking lot eating medium rare chicken wings from a fast food joint. I mean, bizarre, right?
So, okay, we've got a time traveler, a ghost car, a dude who likes his chicken rare, and this is all mixed in with dozens and dozens of other paranormal accounts. It's just a total jumble, a complete mess. So the big question is, how on earth do you find the signal in all of that noise?
And that right there, that's the core challenge we're tackling today. How do we take this chaotic pile of stories and turn it into something that actually makes sense? Something we can, analyze.
For the longest time, our digital tools have basically just been fancy filing cabinets, right? You dump a bunch of information in, and then it's on you to manually search through it page by painful page, just trying to find what you need. But what if your notebook could do the reading for you? Now, that is the huge shift from a passive tool to a truly active research assistant.
And well, that's exactly what we did. We took this entire massive, completely disorganized file of paranormal stories, and we just handed the whole thing over to an AI. We just wanted to see what it could possibly make of all that madness. See, doing this completely transforms the AI from just a simple tool into an active partner. It's not just holding on to the data anymore, it's actually reading it, understanding it, and organizing it for us. So this AI partner really works using three key functions. First, it can synthesize or, summarize huge amounts of information. Second, it can understand the context and the meaning behind the actual words. And third, it can even generate brand new organized content out of that original mess. Now, it's one thing for me to just talk about these functions, but it's something else entirely to see them in action. So let's do that. Let's apply them to our big file of weirdness. Okay, first up is information synthesis. Basically, this is the AI's power to just read through that entire messy document and, on command, pull out the key details of any specific story you ask for. So, for example, buried deep somewhere in that file is this local legend about a man named Sai. The townspeople were convinced he was a vampire. Now, instead of us having to manually hunt for that story, the AI can just instantly summarize the entire tale for us. The accusations, the mob, the curse that supposedly followed, boom, right there. All right, next up is contextual understanding. And this is where things get really, really powerful. See, the AI doesn't just see words on a page. It actually understands concepts and emotions. And that allows it to draw these incredible connections that we might completely miss. Let me give you an example. In one of the most intense stories in the file, a former paramilitary contractor talks about these horrific events he witnessed. And he says he feels like he's under a curse. Now, the AI gets that this isn't just a ghost story. It's connecting the dots between the deep psychological trauma, PTSD, and the way he's describing it using the language of the supernatural. That's a huge leap in understanding. And this is a fantastic illustration of how an AI can literally create structure out of pure chaos. Remember that time traveler post from 2006? Well, the AI can take all those scattered predictions and just organize them into a clear chronological timeline. It makes the whole warning so much easier to actually understand. So this table here really puts it all together nicely. You can see exactly how the AI applies a different skill to each story. It uses synthesis to just summarize the legend of Sai. It uses context to link the soldier's trauma to his feeling of being cursed. And it can even use generation to reformat a raw, jumbled story into a clean script.
It literally turns a pile of noise into a searchable database of insights.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What does all this mean for us? Because look, this whole experiment, it goes way, way beyond just analyzing some creepy stories from the internet. What we're really looking at is a fundamental shift in how we interact with information itself. We're moving away from just being passive consumers, digital hoarders of data.
The really crucial point here is this evolution. Think about it. We've gone from the past, where we had these passive digital filing cabinets, to the present, where we have active AI research assistants. But the future? The future is a true collaborative partnership where we're actually thinking with our tools, not just using them to look stuff up.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought to chew on. If this kind of AI can navigate the fog of paranormal internet folklore and pull out meaningful patterns, just imagine what hidden connections, what overlooked insights could it find in your world, in your research, your work, maybe even in your own life? What signal is just waiting to be found in your noise?